Hey, good morning, Travis. I am so grateful to have you here with me today. Tell me a little bit. You've done a collection for us, a curation of kind of your favorite pieces on Daniel House Club, or some of them. So tell me a little bit about your business, where you are in the world, and what your aesthetic is.
Sure. Thanks, Peter, for having me. My name's Travis Smith, and I'm the operator and owner, designer of Travis Smith Design, and I'm in Washington, D.C. So my clients are, of course, in the District of Columbia, as well as Northern Virginia, and also Southern Maryland. So that kind of is my backyard there. So and yes, the pieces, and we can talk about them a bit more. That are the rooms, rather, that were featured. They are all part of. They're actually all in one house, and this particular home is in DC, and DC has a look. It's a little bit, can be kind of buttoned up, I guess. And so this is one of those 1940s suburban federal style homes. So the client, when they purchased the home, the entire interior, which I guess is sort of the thing these days, whenever a house is being sold, was stark white, right? And it did have the black framed windows, which I think are really nice, but stark white. And so it had like like Saks Fifth Avenue like feel to it. There was almost like a little bit of a coldness.
Yeah.
So yeah, coldness to it. So like the dining room, which is really a little more of a breakfast room off the kitchen, because the rooms are not humongous typically in DC homes, is it was, oh man, it was super stark. And so actually they had like the previous owner had put in like this halo light, and the temperature was like 5,000 Kelvin or something. It was like it was
That might
awful and
be illegal.
it really was. Actually, I joked with the client about it. I was like, this is like they're going to do surgery in here or something, like on the table. So, the goal for all three rooms in this home was just to warm everything up, to layer everything, to make it feel much more lived in, and certainly much more comfortable. And so they hadn't lived there too long. And so I had, thankfully, and I love it when clients say this, and they use the phrase blank slate, because it's just like awesome. You don't have to work around like this sofa that you just bought a year ago, but like does not belong here, or like the rug that was your grandmother's, but like I can't build the room around it, or like it's a challenge. So I love a blank slate. So yeah, just included a lot of organic papers and botanicals. So I really love Cole and Son, which Daniel House Club, of course, carries some Cole and Son paper that was done in the living room, and just a mix of textures. Didn't go crazy in the dining room or the breakfast room with window treatments. Just kept it real simple. But in the living room, just went a little bit like fuller, like we did like the full drapes, a little more traditional. But I think it's kind of have like it's sort of like a coral colored, I guess, a drape in there, and that just played really well against the wallpaper, which is green, very green. So I don't know, just try
Tie back. You have the heavy tie backs on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's like a zag when others are zigging, but like, because I know that's not. It's sort of grand millennial, but they're functional, and I think they look nice. So it was whatever. They leave the drapes open most of the time anyway, so it's kind of like, all right, you got to have something. But anyway, tried to also to do some like bringing the outdoors in, too, with both with like the pattern of paper, but also just with actual like plants. There's a lot of images, like some of the art, and even like some of the there's a little side table in the gosh, which room is it? In the living room. I'm sorry, not in the living, in the sunroom. There's a side table that has like birds, in it. So there's a lot of bird imagery, a lot of ferns, things like that. So, it's the city, right? And so you got to like try to like bring that natural feeling, those natural elements indoors as much as possible. I love doing that in projects. So anyway, that's a rundown of that project.
Cool. I hear you're working on some fun stuff now. I'm excited to see it. I'm sure you are too when it's finished.
For sure.
I think it's interesting that you say that you love a blank slate, because I look at the images of your projects and they look very personal. And I think I could look at that image and think, oh, the client did come with some of their own things. So I think that's like pretty successful, that you are able to make it feel to me like somebody's home, not just like home. So
yeah.
how do you think that kind of comes to life? What role is the client playing in sort of decision making with you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do probably what a lot of designers do. I have a questionnaire. I kind of, I kind of took from a lot of other people's questionnaires, and then I had my own, and then I change it, as I go. So I think that's helpful, not just for me and referencing, but also for the client. I think it prompts them to think like, oh, I don't know if I like need smart home features. Like maybe I do, or like, I don't know if I should have vintage pieces. Like I hadn't considered that. So just those prompts, I feel like start conversations that that help inform and steer the design. So I think that's one element. I try to ask like the lifestyle questions, especially when people have children. I'm like, okay, where do they put their shoes, or where do you want them to put their shoes? That's a big question. Where does your Christmas tree? Where's your Yeah, right. Everywhere. Where does the answer? Where does your Christmas tree go? Like I tend to, it's like I tend to ask that pretty much on, well, depending on the room, I ask that on most projects. So, yeah, I think, it's a relationship. It is I mean, it's like, sounds cliche, but it's a relationship business. And so you're meeting these people, and you kind of like, you have to decipher, right? Like in pretty like a short amount of time, like what they really want, even if they're saying something else. And so I try to like understand, like, where do you travel? Like, what are your favorite hotels? Like, all leading up to the question, like, how do you want to live? Like that's really what designers are doing, is like, we're trying to answer that question we're trying to help our clients answer that question. We're facilitating it. How do they want to live? So, yeah, I know it's not like I hope that's more of a qualitative anser, but I just try to put all that together. Yeah.
That's a pretty good answer. One of the questions I had for you is, what do you think the most common problem clients are coming to you to solve is? And I'm wondering, is it, how should I live? And if that's the case, hope they know that's what they're coming to you for.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's like a little different, but broadly speaking, I think folks want their spaces, their homes to reflect their lifestyles. You know what I mean? And I think that matters, or that's meaningful on the practical side. And so they want storage. They want a place to set their drink down. Like I'm working on a project right now, living room, and I just went and looked at the house. They lived there since October. There are no side tables in the room at all. And the husband's like a whiskey connoisseur. And I'm like, where do you set your drinks? Yeah. Where, I mean, like, and she's like, just on the floor. I'm like, on the floor. It's a tragedy, right? And so, actually, Rita Koenig says luxury, the definition of luxury is having a place to put your drink down. So I always, try to channel her. But
I love
anyway,
her.
Yeah, she's amazing. So anyway, the storage, where to set things down. But also the feelings, you know what I mean? It's the feelings. So they want the aesthetics to be easy on the eye. They want things to be comfortable, and those things mean different things to different people. Some people have kids, some people don't. And so I think the designer's role is, like I said, to decipher that client code and then translate that into a space where people live better. And so I think the problem is clients don't know how to do it, which is great for us. They don't want to do it. They don't have time to do it. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? That people have this problem that they need us to solve, really.
Awesome. So you've been a Daniel House Club member for a while. Are we helping?
Yes. Let me count the ways.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
No, totally. So I'll just tell you, I have I have a written process which every, good designer I think should, at least that's what I'm told. And one of the steps in my sort of back end onboarding for clients is set up a project in Daniel House Club. So like, you know what I mean? I've set up the project board. And so that way, when I go to source product, which is of course, I go to, can I call it DHC? Is that okay to call it that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So when I go to DHC to source product, or it's basically, it's my first stop. I mean, it's just my first stop. So like I'll send clients links to there. I use Programma is my, in-house management software. And so, all my links for product, for the most part, go directly to Daniel House Club. So anyway, that's how essential it is, just so you know, like it's part of the whole process. So that's a thing. Just, and y'all, I heard y'all interviewed I guess it was last year, you and Alex interviewed on, it was Wingnut. That's how I learned about y'all.
Okay.
It was on Wingnut. And I was listening. I don't know. So I was on a run and I was listening and I was just like, this is too good. I literally was like, this is too good to be true. Like in my head, like what y'all were doing. Right. Yeah. And I got home and like, of course, like looked up what y'all were doing. And I was like, this is it. And one thing I really loved is at the time, and I'm pretty like young in the business or new. And I'm not young, but I'm new in the business. I didn't have a receiver. Receiver felt like next level to me. And I'm like, these guys are shipping stuff and like coordinating things where like usually, trying to think forehands, right? Forehands, I believe, you need a receiver. Which I have a trade account with forehand outside of Daniel House Club, but I don't need it because I just go to y'all. And if it's not on y'all's site, y'all made it really clear, hey, let us know what you need. And then your concierge service, which is incredible, like sends me a pro forma. And so y'all just like, you just get it done. You know what I mean? You make it simple. I've heard it, y'all described as the Instacart of sort of procurement. And I just love it that I can go to one place. I love it that I can send my clients to one place. I think the images are good. I mean, I include like a lot of dimensions and I mean, as many specifics as I can, finishes, materials. I like push that over to my, my client dashboard. And so like, if y'all had like thin information on that, and I had to kind of then I had to start with y'all and then go to forehands and I'm picking on them, but forehand site and then pull that data, it would just be like, all right, there's so many steps here. So the fact that y'all have distilled that, in your adding product, like I love when I see something like a new line, I'm just like, I didn't even know this furniture maker existed, so that's super cool. And I can already tell like from a year ago to like now, your just the volume and the availability of a product has like increased, right? So
I'm glad you can tell because
I can tell.
Like the thing we try to really only implement changes that our clients are really telling us that they absolutely need and want. And that kind of extends to vendors. Like every time a client reaches out to the concierge and says, hey, do you have this vendor? Like our concierge team marks it down and sends it over. Yep. And then once that vendor has a couple tally marks next to it, that's when we're going and chasing after them because we know this is going to be one that people really, really like. So I guess like my last question, if you want to keep going, wonderful. I will hear praise about us all day long. It feels great. But what are some things you hope that we will do in the future that we're not doing now, or like little tool improvements that we could make?
Yeah. Well, actually, on that note, I did have one thing recently that I emailed, I guess, Robert about, and it was about shipping notifications because, I get the open order report, and I don't think it's y'all. I think it's just like there's like an information disconnect. Yeah. So basically, I'll tell a client like, hey, this coffee table tray is supposed to ship on May 22nd. Sorry for the delay. And they're like, it just arrived last week. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, that's just an example, which wonderful. Hooray. It's always like it's already there or it's about to ship.
That's a much better situation than the other way around.
Of course. So I want to it's not a battle, right? I just want to kind of say, but it's a reflection of it looks like disconnect, right? Yeah. On the designer's part. I'm just kind of like, hey, I sold you on my proposal on the fact that like I am managing the logistics on,
Yes.
and so it's like a little bit of confidence lost. No client has ever complained about it, but it's not a great reflection on me. It's a
Yeah.
small thing, but anyway, so you're nodding your head, so you're aware of this.
I
And
am
then
aware this actually
yeah,
happened to me personally a couple of
okay,
times. And
yeah,
so it's especially on vendors that ship really fast. So it's like
mm,
they get the information after they've sent it out the door or something. That's usually been the case.
yeah,
So yeah, there is a little bit of disconnect between our system and our vendor system. And it is something that we're working to solve, but we haven't figured out
yeah,
the right thing yet.
yeah. Yeah. It's like it's not the worst problem, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
But you know but the thing is like that I think is the point of this is you just ask like, hey, what are the things like you guys want to know? And I didn't feel like it was a waste of my 5 minutes to email the concierge service and say like, hey guys, like this is not like an action item, but I just wanted to share. And I mean, I was polite about it, I think. And I got a polite response back saying, hey, yeah, we know this is why this is happening. So I just feel like that's that's a very healthy relationship in that they're sharing. It's not criticism, although, you know, I've never had like an issue with Danny House Club, honestly, like as far as like, oh my gosh, this is horrific or terrible or tragedy. I've had claims.
Knock on some wood really quick here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've had another note that's just like a praise kind of a praise report on DHC is you know, glass chandeliers break in transit. And so I've had a couple of claims in the last like maybe 6 weeks. And it's just been really easy, right? I mean, I've had like a client who's like understanding, but on the concierge side, it's like good communication. Here's the form the vendor needs. You know, here, can you take some pictures? Like, you know, I've done all the things, but it's like it's almost like having like a part-time employee.
That
And
is
I
that's
yeah,
so much our goal. I'm so glad
yeah,
that you're feeling that because
yeah,
yeah, when Alex and I ran our business, our design business together, you just feel alone sometimes in like, how am I possibly going to solve this stupid problem that is
yeah,
really not my fault?
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Um,
Can I just tell you like a quick story?
yeah.
So I had it's actually the chandelier. I had a chandelier recently, and it had like I won't say who the vendor was, but I ordered it through DHC, and it had like 13 globes
Hmm.
on it. Beautiful chandelier, and 4 of the globes came in broken, and so y'all handled all that, got the 4 globes on. So I went to go replace the 4 globes after the chandelier had already been installed, right? And it was lit up, everything's wired, electrician's come and gone, everything's looking good. I'm like, all right, I got these 4 globes. I'm gonna like put these in. I went to go put the last globe on, and it was like a Sputnik style lamp where like there's spikes, you know.
Yeah.
And so it had been the spikes had been welded too close together. And so the globe, one globe would fit, but the other globe would not. Like it was, you can't force it. It's glass, and then it's
Yeah.
like welded metal.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, what? It was like the last thing that had to be done. And so I was like, all right, like I'm just going to document this whole thing. So I measured and I took photos and a video, and you know, I sent everything in, and I was just like, I can't, I don't know, like what's going on. Like I'm happy to try to fix this from the ground because it's already installed, but like I don't know how. So you tell me what to do. So anyway, so y'all worked on it with the vendor, and they're going to replace it because it's just like so it's not my fault, it's not y'all's fault, but it's got to be taken down. The clients put out a little bit, like they're like, I got to pay the electrician to come back in, you know, the whole, it's just like a thing. And I'm like, this is what people pay for. Like, this is what people pay designers for because it's a headache. And
Yeah.
like my client, aside from opening her door, really doesn't have to like lift a finger other than like she's living with a chandelier that's just missing a globe for a few weeks, you know? And I'm like, man, like there's so much going on behind the scenes and so much coordination. Like I've got to scrap the old one, which is a shame. And
Yes.
but y'all helped me through that, you know, like y'all helped me solve that problem.
It's
And
it's
yeah. So
always
anyway,
like little teeny tiny things that you just couldn't even
I
imagine.
know, I know. I was just like, oh, you know, just like horrible.
Those are the moments when you're like, what are my friends who say design, your job must be so fun? Like, what are they talking about? Like,
Yeah, don't know. I mean,
yeah,
it is fun, and most days I tell myself like, man, I would do this for free. Like, I love it. I mean, and I'll just like, I did a kid's bedroom last year, and the parents, like, the kids were not sleeping. They were like in, like through the night. They had three kids in one room.
oof,
This is in Virginia. I know, small kids. Two of them are twins. And like went in the room, and it was like one was in a bassinet, which I just learned what that was recently. I had no idea what a bassinet was until my wife is pregnant. So now I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm learning about nursery furniture. That's a first. Maybe that's a thing that Daniel House Club can add to the right.
that is the thing we need to add. Yeah, we've
Seriously.
been pushing on a couple of vendors that we're really interested in. So if you have some that you are excited about, send them our way.
Okay, I do, and I will do that for sure, because there are a few little, like, I feel like boutique vendors who are like, we do like mid to high end nursery furniture well. In fact, I had a cousin who just or was about to have a baby, and they like sent me. They were like, "Can you get this chair for us like at a discount?" And I signed up with a company to get them. It's like a glider or something. Anyway, I digress. The point is, I did this kid's room. We did bunk beds because it was the only way to do it. And the parents called me, or texted me rather, when the project was over, and they were like, "Our kids want to be in their bedroom." Like, I did like lights and things underneath. I made it fun, right? They have like a jungle theme, and I was just like, that is payment, right?
Yeah,
That they were like, the parents are sleeping, the kids are sleeping, the kids are excited, they feel like it's like a magical room, and I'm like, this is what designers are supposed to do, is like transform that space, like literally, and then the family is living better. They are like, they're more rested, and the kids are happy, and the parents are happier, of course. And so it was very fulfilling. So I love those. I love it when things like that happen.
that sounds like, yes, incredibly rewarding and makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Daniel House Club is like the behind the scenes partner to me, that like allows for all that in a way that's faster, in a way that has the selection that I need, and also in a way that, and I haven't even brought this up, but another thing Daniel House Club helps a lot is just helps me to make money, right? I mean,
Thank
y'all
you for
said
bringing it up. Yes, that's one of our
yes.
goals. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to pretend like we don't have to make money. In the Wingnut social interview, you said, I think you had a stat about like, it was a high number of designers that are like only doing design services fee and then handing over the plan,
Yeah.
like the shopping list. And I honestly, after being in business for not a super long time, I had no idea how there's survival there. I had no idea.
I don't know either. And I want to say that the last time we surveyed, it was like 50% of people before they started shopping with us did not handle the furniture piece of it. And even we just went to an event. We have a member. This kind of stuff never really bothers me because I have always been the client facing person. But Alex, my brother, is like, it makes him angry when he hears this. The designer said, well, it's just really helpful to me. And I still, I pass out on my whole discount. And Alex like left and is like, that's not the point. We should restrict people's ability to do it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that. But it is, it's really encouraging to hear that people are not giving away that margin to their client, because it's not necessary. And
Of course.
It's not healthy for your business, and your clients are going to have a better experience if you have a healthy business. And I think that's so evident, or becomes evident really, really quickly. So
part of the payment beyond the expertise is the access. It's like, I mean, I will just say, a lot of people have the ubiquitous like Pottery Barn sofa, and like they speak in terms of like what they Google, right?
Yeah.
And when you Google furniture, for the most part, these big retail guys, that's who shows up, and so like that's what they think. Like I have to go here, and so there's a lot of education that has to happen to say like, no, like you're restricting yourself. There is an entire universe of like actual unique furniture that's not necessarily more expensive, and like the big box, you're paying for their curation, right? I mean, it's like, it's not like the furniture is like that great. It's just like, hey, we have incredible marketing. You can buy it all, and it's going to look good in the room, although it's going to look like your neighbors. So like That's
Yeah.
exactly right. So anyway, I'm not saying anything I'm not saying anything that you don't
Well,
already know, but it's access, you know?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
the other thing about that is I think clients make an assumption that it's going to be more convenient for them. But often that furniture will take just as long to arrive after you've bought it off the floor. So
For sure.
if you can help them understand this other avenue, then I
Yeah.
think it'll be equally, if not, well, definitely they're going to be more satisfied. And they're not going to really have to wait longer or pay more. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Just a quick
Yeah.
question about shipping,
Yeah.
which I know y'all are well versed in shipping furniture and understand that world. So right as of right now, I'm basically just like charging clients whatever the net cost of shipping is, whatever it is. So like, um, yeah, so like that's kind of how I'm like passing that on. But as I grow and I start, like, I have a receiver now, but I don't use them on everything. I'm just trying to like find a way that's a little bit simpler, that like maybe like a percentage that I can apply. And I'm tracking this data now. I'm like, okay, like what am I spending on
Yeah.
shipping versus like, what's like my cost of goods sold, so I can have some kind of measurement. But of course, receiving is more expensive, so it throws that out, and there's install.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, do you have some kind of industry standard where you're like, oh, like a lot of designers are saying, hey, it's 15%, and are they charging that as they go along? Are they charging that at the end? Can you kind of shed any light on that for me? I'm just trying to like get my arms around how to
Yeah.
charge for freight.
I can tell you what we have done. I've done two different things. One is that I just charge shipping at cost plus 5% as it comes. Um,
Okay.
I've never had someone have a problem with, we're handling the accounting of that, so they usually get it. Or the other is, this is risky. I think this is if you have a pretty good handle on the scope. I tend to put a single line item at the bottom. I've sort of calculated the whole amount of the number of pieces I'm going to put in there, and I've done like 20%
Okay.
of the total value of the furniture.
Okay.
Sometimes that gives me the opportunity to credit them back at the end of the project, and
Hmm.
sometimes made a little bit. I
Got
personally
it.
like that. I've had a lot of success with that, and then I don't ever have to have a conversation with them about shipping ever
Hmm.
again,
Yeah.
unless the scope changes, and then I need to add like a new line item for more shipping.
Okay. Okay.
I I think that was more risky, but clients
Hmm.
like it. Uh,
Okay.
those are the two ways I've done it.
Okay. That's helpful. That's
Yeah,
helpful.
I think that cost plus 5 is pretty common though. Um,
Okay.
and I think just the knowledge that you can charge a markup on shipping is,
Hmm. Yeah, which I'm not right now, but it's like, okay, is that an opportunity? Certainly. And then how would I go about that? So like, I just want to build in like a safety net
yeah,
essentially.
yeah,
And I don't like what I'm doing now because basically I'm, maybe pricing the furnishings and then saying like, but I don't know what shipping's going to be yet, because like, it changes, because maybe they don't necessarily always, my clients at this stage like are not always ordering like everything like in one full swoop, so it's like I may have it phased out, right?
yeah,
And so but I also don't want to feel like they're nickel and dime, like, okay, every time I place an order it's like another $300, 350, whatever, like shipping. So
yeah,
I want something clean,
yeah.
but something that's kind of on my side preferably. So
Yes, definitely.
yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
if it's trickling like that, maybe you can just lean toward the free shipping vendors. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that cost plus 5 is pretty safe in that way. I've not had someone feel super nickel and dimed. Um, and I think if they do, what I've done I've extended a little bit of my discount to them. I do try to explain like I'm purchasing furniture for you as though I am a retail store. So
Hmm.
there's not the margin built in for you to get free shipping on this.
Yeah.
And but if it really becomes an issue, then I could maybe reduce my um, overall. I could share a portion of my discount with them, like 10% or something.
Yep.
And they like that language. They are getting a little bit of savings off the retail value of something, and then
Hmm.
they're comfortable to cover the shipping. I've only
Okay.
done it 2 times, but
Okay. 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 All right. That's
I
very
don't know
helpful.
if that's helpful. Those
No,
are the,
no, it is. Yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to like understand. I guess there are different ways to, approach it. And so I'm just trying to find the one that kind of fits, with me, with my business, with clients. And, I think that's some things for me to think about for sure. So I appreciate you answering that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
we've gone a little overtime, so thank you for hanging out and chatting and for saying good things about us. That's very kind of you. I know we sent you a little bit of payment to do that. No, and congratulations! Exciting to hear that you're expecting a child.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I gotta start working on the nursery.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to
Yeah.
seeing more of your work.
Well, I got some photo shoots that I'm working on for this summer as a couple projects going to wrap up. So I'm looking forward to sending those in for y'all and also getting those put on my website.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk again soon.
Okay. Thanks so much, Peter. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care.